Welcome back to the Nest, peeps. Every once in a while, when I'm going about my everyday life, I'll stumble across an item that would be fantastic for our hobby. And the kind of store that this happens to me most often is the dollar store. Just about every single time I walk into a dollar store, I come across something that can be useful in our hobby. One of those I can't believe I ever painted without it items that I've found at the dollar store is your makeup brush. $1 for a makeup brush, and these are fantastic dry brushes. I haven't found a single other brush that works better than a makeup brush when it comes to dry brushing. I don't know the technicals of why the makeup brush is the best for dry brushing. It could be because of how soft the bristles are, how thick the pad is. I'm not really sure, but I know it works, and it works beautifully. And for $1, I'm not too worried about destroying it like dry brushing will do to your brushes. Alas, dry brushing is not the main topic of this video. If you would like to see a video that goes more in depth with dry brushing, I do already have a video that focuses on dry brushing, and that is my painting a bone swarm video. Link here if you'd like to check that out. No, this video is about something that I stumbled across in the dollar store. It was one of those items that when I seen it, I didn't understand why I didn't already have it and why I didn't already make the conscious decision to look for this kind of product. But here I find it in the dollar store. I, like most people, used a cup or a jar to keep my brushes in. All clumped together. You kind of had to dig through them a bit to find the brush you were looking for. But a paintbrush rack allows me to have the specific brushes that I need for specific things in specific places. But here you go. Let me show you the paintbrush rack that I picked up from the dollar store. And here is the packaging. On it, it states it's a pencil and brush organizer. It's got 49 holes, keeps brushes and tools organized. It's ideal for artists and creators. Okay, let's get in here and open up this package. This thing is nice and simple, not too many parts. You have the top, the bottom, and the 3 little pegs here that keep them together. You really can't mess up putting this thing together. It really only goes together one way. So we take the 3 pegs, legs, whatever you want to call them, and then we insert them into the designated slots in the bottom half of this paint rack. We wiggle them a little bit, make sure they're in there nice and snug, and then we take the top portion and we slide them right into the designated areas here. With that, the brush rack has been completely assembled with more than enough space for all of the brushes that I own. And I start things off by throwing my dry brushes in there. Here I have filled the rack off screen with all of the brushes that I own. In the front here you have some of my workhorse brushes. These are the guys that I do primarily most of my painting with. Then over here we have my metallics brushes. After the workhorse brushes start to get a little long in the tooth, they turn into metallics brushes. Then on the left side from that, as you can see here, I have all my dry brushes. I have 2 medium-sized dry brushes and a smaller one. I still need to pick up a large dry brush for those massive projects. Over here I have a few of my fine-tipped brushes that I use for more detailed stuff. And then this little area over here I designated for my junk brushes. These are the brushes that I use to push around glue, apply sand, all that stuff that would destroy a brush otherwise. In the back we got the large terrain brushes, and that's honestly the only thing I've ever used those for. And then in the far back here with the cap still on them are fresh brushes. Brushes that will get used in the future once the current brushes that I'm using shift into the next phase of their existence, whether that be a junk brush or whatever. Bottom line is, I said goodbye to the jar. No more jar or cup for me. Now this little jar's only purpose is to hold extra bases. As you can see on my workstation here, I have my brush rack to the left-hand side of my workstation, so I can just grab whatever I need as I need it while I'm painting. To the front I have the brushes I use most, such as the workhorse brushes, the dry brushes, and the metallics brushes. I am beyond happy with the paintbrush rack. It allows me to not only see the brushes I have available to me better, but it allows me to access them quicker without having to kind of shuffle through all the brushes in a cup. I know that some may think this kind of paintbrush rack is a little overkill and they're perfectly happy with their cup. And that's fine for them. But for me and the way that my brain works, this works out much better. So it takes a little bit of the anxiety away from painting for me, believe it or not, because what I would do is I had all my brushes in the cup and I had 3 brushes that I would leave out, and I would just do everything with those 3 brushes. I didn't even look at the rest of the brushes that I had available to me because I didn't want to spend the time searching for a brush. Now I can just kind of glance up at the rack, take a quick survey, and if there's a brush that I feel will be better for the current task at hand, I can easily just grab that. I don't got to worry about searching and seeing if I can find something that works. I can just glance over, see if I've got what I need, and then go back to work. But what do you peeps think? Do you think that the brush rack holder is a little bit overkill? Do you use a paintbrush rack? Let me know in the comment section down below. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and all that other social media stuff. For now, I've got to fly. As always, keep on painting, peeps.